Hi everyone. Today we have Mawethu Soga, who's the head of the commercialization and growth at Fixxr. So you're probably asking yourself, what is Fixxr, right? So Fixxr is the newest mobility as a service platform, which offers on-demand, reliable car service. So basically, it connects experienced vehicle mechanics with customers. So Fixxr is on a mission to provide efficient and affordable transparent repairs and maintenance, and have been doing so in the wider Johannesburg area since 2018. They have since scaled to KZN, Western Cape, and the Eastern Cape. And like I said, Mawethu is here to tell us more. Hi, Mawethu, how are you?
Yeah, happy to be here. It's always strange to tell your story, but hoping it can help someone else out there.
Awesome, man. So for somebody that might not have an idea of, what mobility as a service is, or because I'm sort of aware of infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, but mobility as a service for me is something new. How would you explain it to somebody who doesn't know?
All right, so I guess Fixer is a platform that allows you to service your car wherever you are, whether it be at your home or your office environment. So as a business, we are a platform that improves mobility within cities. So that's why it is mobility as a service. Instead of you taking this vehicle and being able to drop it off somewhere else, etc., we utilize the space where you're at to be able to do this very quickly and efficiently, and you allow you to go about your day.
This is awesome, and I wonder what gap you guys saw in the market to actually fulfill, and what sort of competition do you have in this area? Because I know you guys, and I don't know who your competitors are. It seems like a very niche market to be operating in.
Yeah, I mean, look, our main focus, I mean, our main birth of the idea was experiencing the problem. My co-founder, Curtis, was having an issue with his vehicle. Engine light came on. And instead of solving it right there and then, like you should, he did what many other people out there do and he ignored it. And once he ignored it, a small problem then became a big problem. And then his turbo blew. Obviously, now this is a very expensive exercise,
Yeah,
and he didn't have the money to be able to solve it. He then met a mechanic at a Bri who'd be able to do it for him at a more affordable price, get it done with aftermarket parts and sorted. And he thought to himself, hey, man, I'm not the only one who has this issue. Utilizing the technology and adding the mobile mechanic service was something we added on to make it unique. But you do find a few mobile mechanic service providers in the environment, but they would consider it a call out. They would
yes.
charge you for coming there and conducting the service. While for us, we don't charge any call out fees. We've got a set price list of products, and then we do mobile only. We don't host a warehouse. We don't have any rent. We don't host any equipment. We manage the logistics and the parts between the mechanics and our suppliers, and we obviously manage the client relationship as well and the payments. There is obviously a growing environment for this particular type of service overseas.
Yeah.
It is mushrooming around the various continents: America, UK, India, Australia. Here in South Africa, I think there's only two of us that provide a service of this nature in this manner. But the market is big. I mean, this is a 32 billion rand market in South Africa alone, let alone for the rest of the continent.
That's awesome, and it's you could also agree that it's a disruptive service, right? In the sense that you have and it sort of speaks to my follow-up question, which is the type of vehicles that you provide services to. Are there vehicles that are on maintenance plans and stuff like that, or is it like after your car has sort of fallen out of that maintenance yeah window or yeah, if I may put it that way. But obviously this must be a disruptor to the you could say the manufacturers that actually provide that service in-house. So what have you seen as a change throughout the years since you guys have, been in existence?
Yeah. Look, I mean, there's different ways to look at it. And I continuously say we're not competing. And I say this to many other individuals in the space. We are there to improve on
Enhance.
probably a gap that's not been solved in harms. But there's a few nuances. So I'd say plain and simply, a majority of our customers, we sit in the out of warranty space.
Okay.
So that's after they've actually completed these service and warranty plans.
Mm,
So if you're any OEM out there and you want your brand, your car to have a good even standing within the market, you want it to be taken care of by reputable suppliers. So
mm,
we help make that happen. And I mean, we see many clients come out of these service and warranty plans and not know the real cost of their cars. You bought an awesome Audi or BMW, etc., and you never knew that to actually do this service cost you 2,000 Rand a month. To do the brake, I mean, 2,000 Rand a year. To do the brake pads, another 1.6, etc. Because you've been paying this 300, 400 Rand a month your whole entire life. You don't actually understand the true cost of holding this vehicle. And I think that's the market we play in, or we were exclusively playing. We're now moving to the in warranty space with the new regulations. But we are seeing that with the new regulations, the right to repair ruling that then split the service plan from the purchase of the car, you're seeing a lot more competitors within the market now extending their warranties further than that 5 years.
to
But
retain
they
the
always have a
yeah,
limit.
yeah.
Yeah, to retain their client base. They always have a limit because of risk. But for us, we want to be there for the entire life cycle of your car. We've also released a new subscription product to allow you to pay monthly as well. So we can also take care of those set of services for you. But the other nuance is also disruption on the mechanic side. You
Yes.
go fix your car at any dealership. You have no, maybe you pay 2,000, 3,000 Rand. You may pay 30, 40,000 Rand. Do
Mm.
you know how much of that amount the mechanic gets,
Yeah, it's probably
right?
less, way less. Yes.
It's peanuts,
Yeah.
peanuts of that transaction.
Yeah.
But that is a person with 10 to 15 years of experience, all the
Yeah.
necessary accreditations and qualifications, and they're the person actually working on your vehicle. So we
Mm.
are going to them and we're allowing them to get 75% of the revenue on their labor. Fixxr takes 25, and they're earning a lot more income through
Mm.
Fixxr than working at a workshop. Because now we're saying, hey man, you're the guy who knows how to do this.
Mm.
Come take the money, right? And conduct the service. Right? Now they're getting a much bigger pie of this car that they fix every day, as opposed to the small portion they get working there at an hourly rate. So it's disruption on both sides.
Yeah, I like that it's sort of democratizing that, that space that, it's actually fostering these mechanics to be sort of like independent and entrepreneurial. The platform actually allows that. That's what I like. And it sort of speaks to my next question, which speaks to, growth and challenges that you've had on this platform throughout the years. So,
Yeah, look, I think that always changes.
yeah,
I always say to people, um, each year of yourself as a business, you're building a certain business. You might say to yourself, I first want to build 1,000 Rand business. And you go out and you do it. Now you say, okay, I want to build a 10,000 Rand business. Now you say 100,000, a million Rand business. So each time your business transforms, and that's how we look at it, especially in technology. There's
yeah,
these set of startup principles and thoughts. So we've got a theory of constraints, and then we look at it on a year-to-year basis. So each time there's a new business that's forming, because a business that could reach 100,000 Rand revenue is very different from one that can do a million. So these challenges change over time. I think when we initially started, like every other business, our first focus was validation. We built this platform and getting it out there and finding out whether, hey man, is this a service that Ole wants, right?
mm,
Is this what he needs, and is this one he's willing to pay for?
correct.
And if he's willing to pay for it, are we able to deliver this at a profit? Right? That's
Mm,
probably the first kind of key questions we had there. And originally we were delivering at a loss, like most businesses do.
yeah.
But we validated that yes, Ole wants this and he wants the service and we can do it well. As the business grew, I remember in our first 6 months or so, it was like 600%, and then everything broke. Service broke down. We couldn't get to everyone, and then we learned, okay, suppliers,
Yeah.
speak to them. Okay, we need logistic support. All right, do this. We need set principles with the mechanics. So operations had to come in there and do well. We still hadn't reached profit. I think that took us another 2 years or so when we got enough volume to get the necessary discounts, and then we also passed on some costs to the customer. So those are like your service fees that you start to see in there as well. And then we started to reach a level where we were profitable, and that's probably the first 1 to 2 years of the business. 3 and 4 was now growth. Now taking this business that we built and seeing if we can double it, triple it, quadruple it, and grow it across the country. And now we're in Gauteng. We started in Randburg in Gauteng. Now we're across the entirety of Gauteng.
Mm.
We're sitting in Cape Town. We're sitting in Durban, and we're sitting in the Eastern Cape. And we've now just gotten a considerable amount of funding. So now our challenge is different again. Now it's how do I get high growth while still delivering the service efficiently while still doing it at a profit.
Mm.
So yeah, the challenges seem to always be the same, to be honest to ourselves, because at the beginning of each new year, we wipe the slate clean and be like, okay, now we're building a 10 million rand business. Now how are we going to do this?
And it's a learning curve because it's not like with most founders, they've been in that type of experience before. So handling a 10,000 rand business is way different to handling a 50,000 rand and a million rand type of business. So the I think the sort of it's a steep learning curve, but you actually have to be agile and learn quick, and be able to sort of transpose and pivot quite quickly in your approaches to how you solve things. But most of people that start up often, have this brilliant idea and want to put it into practice. But, especially in the technology space, funding that type of idea becomes a real sort of blocker. How did you guys overcome that? Did you fund this project from your own pockets? How did you move from ideation phase to where it is today?
Yeah, I think look, the African and most importantly the South African market is not mature in its funding landscape. We still have very traditional forms of financing, which is banking, development institutions, and etc.,
Mm,
which still use very traditional metrics to be able to judge business. They're not venture financing enterprises, even though they
yeah.
might use these words
Mm,
quite liberally. But this capital is not cheap and it's not flowing, as many would know. Myself, I had done over 200 million rand in funding through a previous role at one of the top banks on the continent. So I understood the funding environment and what we had to do. So from initial, we had built it to be fundable.
mm,
And that was sort of our key learning curve. We had a bank account, we had financials, and we continuously focused on growth. Growth is a fundable is a fundable investment,
mm,
right? And that's why we were okay with loss at the beginning. We did fund it ourselves at the start for the first year. So we quickly then went onto the market where we saw validation and growth, and
mm,
then started to join these competitions. We joined the IBM Startup Bootcamp. We then won 500,000 Rand from there, which allowed us to then do another year's worth of growth. After that, we entered the I'm In Accelerator. We got another 1.5 million Rand from there that allowed us to do another round of growth, and we got 500,000 Rand from Telkom Future Makers as well. So we were very versed in
mm,
understanding the funding landscape and what we need to deliver, and
mm,
then going to these places to be able to deliver it. And it was also great that there's three of us with this
mm,
environment. So me with funding experience could then sit and focus on that. Now we've done a 12 million Rand funding round for the next growth area of the business to take us to the next level. But that we did the same. We built it to go where it needed to go, and each time we found a partner that was willing to go to the next level with us.
that's quite a story, and I think your partnership was one that, had somebody that's key like you, who comes from that type of background, who can play that major role. So, my next question would be, you guys, how did you guys, sort of, I know with your initial partner, he sort of had this business problem that he solved a certain way, but how did you guys come together?
Yeah.
Or how did you pick members to form part of this awesome team?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
always say
awesome.
Curtis tricked us. I always say he tricked us.
Why so?
So we
Yeah,
all, business is such a tough game. I always say, guys,
yeah.
just rather work. It's a much better environment. This is madness. So I mean, we all went to varsity together.
Oh, okay.
All of us. All of us. Did well in that environment. We were all youth leaders as well, awarded as well. And then myself and Curtis were also at Standard Bank together, working there. He was just a few years ahead of me.
Mm,
My Bulela was at Bolt at the time as well. So Curtis just saw amongst his network and his group, and he said to himself, "Oh, these are the two guys that would be most fitting." And then he came to us and he was like, "Hey, man, I've got this crazy idea.
mm,
Would you like to go on this ride with me? I'll give you a week or two to think about it."
mm.
I remember you met me at Starbucks, and our second meeting was at McDonald's. um, so he basically, yeah, he sorted us out. He saw that we had the right focus for these different areas, and he brought us together. We
Mm.
knew each other well. Funny enough, my Bulela is my cousin, and I only found out once we started a business together.
Jeez.
I
And
always seen him around at
they
home.
often say you don't do business with family.
Yeah, man. I mean, I was posting a picture of him, and then my aunt was like, "Hey, man, that's your cousin." I'm like, "What are you talking?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's your cousin." I'm like, "Yeah, they've always been around the house. I just didn't know that they were family." so,
Yeah, no, that's
so yeah, we very very strong team. Everyone knew each other very well, which makes it good because we box like brothers. But
mm,
then everyone is very, very committed to each other to also solve the problem.
mm.
We've all done extremely well in our professional lives, so it was just moving that into the business environment.
No, that's awesome, and it's always a good story to tell. I mean, you wouldn't have known that this guy was your cousin until you actually had to rub shoulders with him in business. That's a good story to tell around the Bra area. So my next question would be, with Fixxr where it is currently, what sort of partnerships are you guys looking at, or ones that you've already sort of gotten?
Yeah, I think the main focus is taking Fixxr to the world. I mean, we're not just a car repair and maintenance company. We leverage technology to be able to take care of your car care needs wherever you are, wherever you need us. So we're there for the retail market, and that's servicing the personal and the small business space. And we just really want to go deep into there. And anyone servicing that market as well, we definitely want to speak to you, whether it be insurers, fleet owners, anyone looking to provide extra benefits to their staff as well as to their customers. We're
Mm,
right there. But we also draw building now this corporate space, ways to say, "Hey, man, you have hundreds and thousands of cars.
mm.
Let's solve this particular problem for you." And we're running a few pilots to be able to do that. And I can't mention them as of yet until they've reached fruition. But any partner that's also looking to service a large fleet space, whether you're a financing house,
Mm.
whether you're an insurance house as well, or you're a rental car company, Fixxr is here to be able to service your clientele for you. So yeah, man. I mean, we're really there to any car on the road. There's 12 million in the country, and I think about 60 million across the continent.
Mm.
So we are looking at various partnerships to be able to service these vehicles.
No, that's awesome, and it sounds like scale in another sort of, dimension, and I like that because it's that uh I forgot the phrase, but it's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
So no matter how you sort of look at it, it just keeps on bearing fruit, and that's an awesome business to be in. So, it brings us to sort of my final sort of question, which is, you guys as the founding members of Fixxr, what are you guys sort of doing to sort of give back to, people that are actually starting out and don't have, much knowledge about, starting a business or even, seeking out funding or anything like that. Can someone just reach out to you for mentorship or anything of that nature?
Yeah, so I mean, we're all very involved in various ways, in various organizations.
Mm,
Curtis is involved in what's called a group called Civitas, which is an invite-only group of sort of like top tech, top entrepreneurs, and they sit together and they help grow. We're getting a lot more learning there than we're giving back because
mm,
we're a small business, by any scale. So we can really assist with teaching people how to validate an idea and find some level of growth. But we're still walking a journey where we need to learn from people that have walked
mm,
before us. Myself and Baibulela are in the DIT technology group, which is the Darties and Technology Group, which is
mm,
a group of 200 Black tech founders across the country. And we continuously help to assist each other and in various ways, whether it's through networks, whether it's through learnings as well.
mm.
But yeah, anyone who's keen to reach out, whether it's on my LinkedIn or my Twitter, it's Mawethu Soga. I'm always willing to give an ear for advice on where I can. And if I can't, I definitely probably know someone who can assist or know a YouTube video that you could go watch. That
Most
will help
definitely.
you.
Most definitely, man. That's good to hear. That at least there is that type of community. And you sort of are aware that, some of these things you can't walk alone.
Yeah.
And offering yourself out there for, somebody to contact you for, whatever problem that they may have, walking a similar route that you guys have walked, is commendable. I'm happy that you sat with us today for this interview. It was really quite sort of eye-opening for myself as well, a person that is in, startup phase of a business.
Yeah.
It's really good to hear these good stories. And yeah, man, I hope we get to rub shoulders again sometime.
No, I really appreciate it. I mean, businesses like yours really help us to get out there. Fix that many a times if we didn't have an individual who was willing to listen to our story, we wouldn't have found the next opportunity. So also thank you for doing this because many of us out there don't get the opportunity to have a voice in the market, and this allows us to do that.
Most definitely. Thanks a lot. So if there are any new products, any new features that you are launching on the platform, please let us know. And we'll be happy to just cover them on Matlazana. I think that is our core mandate to just, be the you could say the amplifier or microphone to, platforms like yourself that are doing really incredible things in South Africa and Africa. So thanks a lot for, availing yourself. It's really appreciated, and hopefully next time we'll get to rub shoulders again.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.